everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just open up the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. So take a second to go and grab that and then come back and we will get started. Okay, first things first, we will go over our canvas dimensions. They are 10 inches by 10 inches at 300 dpi or 3000 by 3000 pixels. The color profile that I'm on is the second one on the RGB list. And for our layers today, by the end of the video, we've used about 15 layers, so make sure you have that many available by checking here. If you do not, you can always lower your DPI here to get more layers. This is the color palette that we'll be working with today. Our background and our window frame, our moon, and our clouds. Very straightforward. So we will just go ahead and get started. The first thing that we will do is set our background color. So open up our layer menu and find this background color layer, click it, and then select the first color on our color palette to fill in our background with that color. Then make sure we are on layer 1, grab the second color on the top row, and we are going to add some texture to the background and some just variation by grabbing the grunge brush under the textures category. I have it set all the way up to 100%. And I am just going to very lightly add this to the background, kind of all over, focusing more in certain sections to kind of add some good variation throughout our background, like this. Okay, and then right away we're just going to go ahead and add our window frame so that that is placed and we can place everything in the sky behind it. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer. Grab the third color on the top row, and we're going to grab the selection tool, set it to rectangle with color fill turned on, and the first part of the window that we're going to make is this middle pillar. So let's just go ahead and start in the top middle somewhere off of our canvas and start drawing down all the way through to the bottom off of our canvas as well, and then maybe widen it to about this width and then let it go. Then let's grab our arrow tool, make sure the snapping is turned on in the bottom left, and we will drag this around until we see the two yellow lines that show that it is directly in the center of our canvas. And then we'll go to our layer menu, add a new layer, grab the same color, same selection tool with rectangle and color fill turned on, and do the same thing, but the other direction, left to right, and this time a little bit thinner maybe. Like so, and then again grab our arrow tool and drag it to the center, or at least close to it. You might get a blue line, it might be trying to hit you in the middle of our back shape. Then let's go to our layer menu, add another new layer, same color, grab the selection tool again, rectangle and color fill still turned on, and now we're going to start on the top left outside of our canvas and drag and draw until we get a nice little border on the top of our screen here to make the outside of our window frame. Nothing too thick. We want to see a good chunk of our sky and everything, so maybe about here, and then let it go. Grab our selection tool again, same layer, and we will do the same thing on the side. So start on the outside corner and drag until it's about the same width as our top one, and then let it go. And now to make sure our top and sides are the same, we are going to go to our layer menu, make a duplicate of this layer we just made, grab the arrow tool, click flip vertical, click flip horizontal, and now we have the other side of our window frame like so. Then we will go to our layer menu and snap these top two layers together. All of our outside edges are all on the same layer here. Make a duplicate of this layer, click on it, turn on alpha lock, grab the fifth color on the top row, go back to our layer menu, this layer here that we're on, click on it and click fill layer, drag it below our darker layer, and then click the arrow tool. Make sure uniform is turned on, and we are just going to move each corner in just a little bit so we can see a little teeny bit of our lighter color showing behind it. And then again, make sure to snap it to the center where you see either blue lines or yellow lines here, but it should snap to the center if you start moving it a little bit. And you should see an even border all the way around. Okay, now we have one more piece of our window here. We're going to go to our layer menu, and we need to first do a little rearranging so these bottom two window layers are horizontal and vertical bars. Slide right on them to select them both, and then drag them to the top of our layers. So they should be on the top, and then our two squares should be on the bottom. And you should be able to see that this middle one here goes over our lighter color one in the background. That's how it should look. And we will add a layer in between these two square outer edge window layers here. So we're above our lighter colored one on the inside here and below our darker one on the outside here. And we will grab the fourth color on the top row of our color palette, grab our selection tool again with rectangle and color fill still turned on, and we'll start on the bottom left outside of our canvas. And I'm going to draw across and then up into my canvas further than the bottom most edge of our window here to cover in some more space of our sky, about like this, and then let that go. Okay, and then we are going to grab our eraser tool. I'm going to have my eraser set to monoline brush at 100%. And I'm just going to start in the bottom right corner here where these two meet, the lighter color and this inner edge on the side. And I'm going to draw a line of eraser, hold it down until it turns into a perfectly straight line that I can move around. And then go ahead and click edit shape if you need to. And I'm just going to adjust it. So I want the eraser line to meet in this corner here between these two layers and in this corner here between all these three layers, to make a nice crease there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So erase a line at an angle, hold it down, click edit shape and adjust it to meet in both corners to kind of connect the line there. Like so. Get it as close as you can. It might not be perfect. And if you have any other of your lighter purple here showing like on the side over here, go ahead and just erase that as well. So now your picture should look like this. And now we can move on to our moon and clouds. So let's go to our layer menu, and we are going to draw all these layers behind all of our window layers. So find this layer 1 right above our background where we drew our texture and add a layer above that. Grab the first color on the second row and grab the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. And we are first going to draw our moon in the upper left kind of area here. So let's draw a circular shape, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle. Adjust the size if you need to, go ahead and click edit shape if you need to, and move it around. I am going to place mine kind of right in this upper left area here, but where we can see some chunks of it kind of throughout all of our window panes. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. And then I'm going to grab my selection tool. This time we're going to set it to ellipse, and we are going to turn off color fill. I'm going to start on the upper right area of my moon, just a little bit outside of the edge of my circle here, and start drawing in a nice circular shape. Everything outside of our selection will be what is left over, so that will be our moon shape. So then go ahead and let your selection go. Click the arrow tool and then drag that part off the screen to get rid of it. And now we're left with a nice crescent moon shape. So if you want to, you can also click the arrow tool and adjust the angle, adjust the position, adjust the size a little bit if you want to. I might have mine about right here in this upper left area. Okay, and now we'll add some texture and stuff to it. So let's go to our layer menu on this moon layer here, click on it and turn on alpha lock. Grab the second color in the second row, and we are going to switch our brush to the to be compressed charcoal brush under the charcoals category. Let's have it set to maybe 25%. And I am just going to focus this darker color on the outer kind of edge of the moon here. Like so. Grab the third color on the second row, the darker one, and focus that even further on the very, very edge, not letting too much of it go into our moon at all. You can lower the size also if you need to get a better focus on the edge. And then let's grab the fourth color on the second row and focus that on the inner edge to add a little bit of a glow there. Okay, so now we'll add a little glow behind our moon. We will grab the fifth color on the second row, go to our layer menu, make a duplicate of our moon layer. The one that's on the bottom, we will click on it and click fill layer to fill it with this lighter yellow color that we have selected. Click on it again, turn off alpha lock, click the wand icon, Gaussian blur, and let's put this at maybe 25%. And then it's still a little too light, so I'm going to go to my layer menu and make a duplicate of the glow layer to brighten it up a bit. Now it's a little too bright, so on this top one here, I'm going to click the N and drag the opacity down to maybe 60%. Then I'll snap these two glow layers together so they're all on one layer, but that will complete our glow there. And now we're going to do the clouds. So the clouds will also be behind our window panes, but above our moon. So let's add a new layer there. And we are going to grab the first color on the last row of our color palette, and we are going to use the to be compressed charcoal under the charcoals category for this. Let's set the size to about 15%. And essentially what we're going to do is draw some clouds behind our window panes, above our moon, but I do want some where a few of the edges are sticking above our window, so it looks like they're kind of popping out. But I don't want them to be big, full clouds. Like I don't want a cloud right here that's on top of our window. I just want like little edges of them to be sticking right on top of some of our pieces of window. So I'm going to make some bigger ones first, and then I think we'll add some smaller ones to the edges that we will put on top of our window frame. So let's first do some big ones to kind of fill out our picture. So I am just going to start maybe in this middle left area here, and with my charcoal brush, I am just going to kind of start working in circular motions and then kind of next to each other like this, kind of to create a big cloud shape. So I'll maybe even go above now. So I'm making like some smaller circles, some bigger ones, all kind of connected to make a big cloud. Okay, maybe we'll add another one down in the middle down here. And I just kind of let the edges like taper off in like one last little circle. And then I kind of make it thicker in the middle with some bigger circles. Make sure to leave some room for our smaller clouds that we're going to have above our window layers that are going to be kind of popping out. So kind of plan where you want to put those. Maybe just like 3 of them, and kind of try to leave those spaces more open. Maybe we'll make it even like a little bit bigger on this side, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And maybe we'll start another one here. over here that's kind of coming from the edge as well, a pretty small little chunk. Like this. And then we'll go to our layer menu, we'll add a new layer above this one and drag it to the very top of our layers. And this is where we'll kind of add those ones that are more floating above our window and stuff. So maybe I'll make a small one right here by my moon. Then we'll go over this little window frame just a little bit. Like so. Maybe one down in the corner here. And maybe one right in here as well. Go over them enough times to make sure that they're nice and thick. We can see a little bit of the stuff in the background, and that's okay. They can be like kind of transparent and fluffy looking, but we don't want them to be just barely visible. Okay, maybe I'm going to make this one a little bit longer to kind of cover more of this area over here. Just to kind of fill it out a little bit better, something like that. So make sure your picture is nice and full. I think I'm going to go back to my lower cloud layer and add the teeniest little bit of a cloud showing right in this bottom corner, just to really kind of fill out the picture, and maybe the teeniest bit in this top corner as well, like so. So make sure your picture is nice and filled out and have a few little floating clouds if you would like to. You definitely don't have to. You can leave them all on the bottom layer if you would like. So next we're going to add some highlights and shadows to them. So let's first go to our bottom cloud layer here. Grab the second color on the last row. Set our brush size now to 10%. And we are just going to, since we're on this bottom cloud layer, start with these ones. And I'm just going to work in the circular motions again and just focus on the top sections of our clouds to make some kind of highlighted areas. Still, again, in this circular motion to kind of create a nice little just fluffy section of highlight. And don't go too far outside of our cloud. We still want to see some of our wispy darker color behind it, but I will just do this for all of my back clouds that are showing. This one is the bottom of a cloud, so I won't do that. This one I can see both the top and bottom, so I'll do a little bit there. Kind of just like in the middle area too. I mean, we need a good amount of highlight. Okay, so those are all of our back clouds. So now let's go to our top clouds and do the same thing with them. So now you should have something about like this. And then we will go back to our bottom cloud layer, grab the third color on the last row and drop our brush size down a little bit further to about 5%. And now we are going to focus again on the back clouds and just add some more highlights just really to the kind of edges in little circular motions, and then even a little bit inside, but more splotchier than we did the first time. The first time we kind of did one big highlight all the way across the top, but now we're just going to kind of do a little bit more sporadic of highlights, still in a nice circular fluffy motions. And then again, switch back to our top cloud layer and do the same thing. About like this. And then lastly, we're going to grab the fourth color on the last row and do the same thing, same brush size at 5%, and we're going to do this to the bottom now. I'm already on my top cloud layer, so I'm just going to start there, but I'm just going to kind of add just the teeniest little bit of like darker color along the bottom areas. Just a little tiny bit to kind of add some more depth to them. So going very lightly, not too heavy-handed. And then we will switch back to our bottom one and do the same thing here. And once we've done that to all of them, that completes our picture. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!